as soon as this episode started, I was like hooked in on it. I thought it was just a great pace to it. Like literally wrote great pace. I love the
Yeah.
feel just from the beginning, and I like the way it starts off with the congratulating Uhura and Lieutenant Duke getting his promotion, and I really like the camaraderie between Pike and his crew as they're kind of earning their stripes, and he's
Yeah.
kind of encouraging them along the way. I really like that aspect of the camaraderie between the crew. So right off the top, I was like, oh, this has got a good feel. This is Star Trek. But in general, and this is one thing, without getting specifically in this episode, Strange New Worlds is my favorite new show out of the live action shows. I think it is holding the most true to what I believe is the, Star Trek Gene Roddenberry spirit, and I think it's really hitting all the marks for me of what I expect when I'm watching a Star Trek show, a very good show. And I want to congratulate you and your team for really hitting the ground running this season.
Oh, thanks. I mean, coming from you, that's really high praise, and you would know about that vision, and it really is like all of us that get to work on the show. We are all fans of the franchise and the stories of the characters, so it's something I'm very proud of, and I share with all of my other creative collaborators.
Actually, that makes me think of something. Cirroc, you're stating, this is your favorite of the live action ones, and a lot of people are loving the hell out of this. I am too. We felt it's really hard to get people to fall in love with the show on the first episode. I know nowadays the pressure to do that is a lot higher than it was 20, 30, 40 years ago, before networks would keep something on for 3 or 4 seasons before people actually started liking the damn show. But you have to hit it from day one. And we were really buzzing about that first episode and about the series as a whole from that first episode. But before that, really what Star Trek is doing right now is they're creating a Star Trek for everybody, right? Everything is hitting different parts of fandom. There's the family show, there's the comedy, you're getting there's the nostalgic one. How much time was spent in meetings when you're starting the room before you actually writing out episodes on like the tone and what nook, what corner of the Star Trek universe is this going to, sit in? More so than just it's back to the structure of episodic kind of things, but it certainly has its own voice and its own tone, right?
Yeah, we spent a lot of the early weeks, even months, of the room talking about that and sort of nailing down specifically what each episode's tone is going to be, or its meta genre. And that was when we were starting season 1. That was the thing that we said we could do, because Star Trek has done that. Episodic Star Trek takes big swings, and they have silly episodes, and then they have love stories, and then they have horror episodes. And it actually got to the point where we had too many for our first season. We there were so many we wanted to do that we were like, oh, we'll have to do that if we get a season 2. And we did get to do a season 2, and there were still so many that were like, well, we didn't do that one, we got to do that one. So a horror episode was 100% one that we wanted to do for season 1. And I happen to be a genre writer with a horror background, so I really was fortunate that I got to write episode 9. I also kind of was fortunate to co-write episode 4, which is the
Memento Mori, which was also in this kind of tone, right? Similar
I mean, that one was supposed to be like the submarine movie, sort of like the war, battle of wits, but some horror elements kind of stuck in there because of just the Gorn nature of the Gorn, and also my style, and Bo co-writing Memento Mori with me. And so this was the spiritual sibling to that. It deals with the Gorn. It pays off a lot of the arcs that we set up in 4, and so it made sense that I got to write this one. And you mentioned pacing, and that's like 100%. Just the lessons that I've learned with, when you're writing a good horror, you kind of ease people into a certain sense of security, you make them laugh, you get them on board with the characters, and then you just you flip that around, and then all of a sudden you're like, wait a second, I felt okay like 2 minutes ago, and now I don't feel okay.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah, stuff goes south really fast, right? It's like, oh yeah, okay, all right, nothing's here, nothing to worry about. Wait a minute, there's a lot to worry about.
Exactly. This isn't just a road trip. This is, the road trip from hell.